1984 Olympic Games.
In the last game we worked together a couple of weeks ago here at the Northlands Coliseum against Hartford, that Mold was challenging the shooter.
That's right. And just picked up tremendous mobility in the net. He's pushing off with that back foot and getting out to the shooter or out to that puck so quick, and that helps.
In the corner, Lee Fogelin dumping it up along the boards. Loose in the center ice area. Now back to Engblom at his own line. Lowe picks it off. Gorens tried to move in across the line. He was stopped there by Charlie Simmer on the right side to Smith. Smith breaking in, a shot. Vogt makes the save. Fogelin up along the boards for Gorens, and it slides out into the center ice area. During the course of tonight's game, we'll be keeping you updated on the game at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto between the Maple Leafs and the Washington Capitals. A jam along the boards at the blue line. It produces a whistle and a few words. However, I don't think anything more is going to develop. From the face-off, a drive by Ken Houston as Wiskowski got the draw. Wiskowski goes back at the net, feeds it out front, and Houston was tied up, and the Oilers break out. Gretzky feeds it into Coffey. Coffey over on the side. Anderson back to Coffey, and it just slid to the goal mouth and then was cleared. Coffey couldn't get his stick on it. Gretzky gets it into Pozar. Pozar tries a backhand shot. It's knocked down. Back to the line. A blast by Huddy. It hit a player in front. Pozar was knocked down with that shot. He appears to be all right. He's back up and getting involved in the play. But the play is whistled down. A penalty is coming up against the Los Angeles Kings.
Tremendous pressure by the Oilers forced Russ Anderson to take a holding penalty. And here you'll see it. In behind the net. Oh, did he ever put the arm on him? That's something you can't do. You can never take the bottom hand off the stick because you continually take silly penalties like that. Hang on to the stick and use the hand and the stick to check the player.
Well, the Oilers on the power play ranked number 2 in the league with a 27.4 success ratio. The number 1 team on the power play, the Minnesota North Stars, and they had the power play working last night. Along the boards, Charlie Huddy manages to keep it in at the point. Comes back to Paul Coffey. He winds up a deflection. Another drive, and it's fired wide. Picked up along the boards by Ruskowski, and it's dumped down the ice.
I can't imagine Pozar shooting the puck from such a bad angle. With all the talent he has in the ice, he has to move it around.
Pozar has started to be much more effective in the Oilers' scheme of things in recent weeks. He was in a bit of an early season slump. Now it's Gretzky in behind the net, unable to feed it out front. He gets it to Anderson. Anderson back to Gretzky behind the goal. He tried to slide it out front. Pozar at the side. Gretzky out front, a backhand shot, and it's deflected wide. Huddy plays it back to the net for Gretzky. He's taken out of the play by Jay Wells. Wells flips it up along the board, and finally it's hammered down the ice by Anders Håkansson. 49 seconds remaining in the penalty to Anderson. The Oilers, Paul Coffey coming out of his own zone, having some difficulty with the forechecking of Bernie Nichols. He tries it again, in across the line, a drop pass for Gretzky to the other side. Randy Gregg moving in, shot just wide. Gretzky at the point, manages to keep it in the other side. He lets the blast go. It's deflected. Gretzky gets it back, feeds it into the corner. The puck is loose, and finally dumped up to the line. Bernie Nichols. 16:06 remaining in this first period. Nichols, slap shot, good save, loose puck. And it's cleared just in time by Paul Coffey. 14 seconds remaining in the penalty. Gretzky early in this hockey game has had almost as much ice time as he had in the entire game last night against the New Jersey Devils. Now it's Randy Gregg. The penalty to Anderson is over. In across the line for Jackson. He was offside. The face-off in the center ice area, 15:41 the time remaining. 2 games this afternoon. Both 5-2 results. Montreal over Pittsburgh, and the Boston Bruins over the Winnipeg Jets. Now it's McEwen behind his own net, feeding it up to the blue line to O'Dwyer, playing just his second game since being called up from New Haven. The Oilers are forced back into their own zone. Dumped up into the center ice area. And unable to go anywhere with it was Willie Lindstrom. Now it's Ken Linsman feeding it in. Lindstrom with a shot to save by Marcus Matson. Two ex-teammates. They at one time were both with the Winnipeg Jets. Matter of fact, they were with the Jets in World Hockey Association days and also in the National Hockey League. Here's Ken Linsman trying to move in. Takes the shot. Matson the save. The rebound. Back to the blue line. Kept there by Randy Gregg. They jam away at it at the side of the net. Matson was sent flying. He gets back on his feet, and it's brought out into the center ice area by Los Angeles, and it's fired the length of the ice. Don Jackson back for Edmonton with 14:32 remaining in this opening period. It's scoreless here at the Northlands Coliseum. As we mentioned earlier, both teams coming off ties last night. Now here's a chance for Hughes. Hughes getting set, takes the shot, it goes off a leg, and Doug Smith starts back. He has Charlie Simmer with him. Taylor trying to catch up in the play. A shot by Smith, it's gloved by Moog, and left for Kevin Lowe. Lowe was looking into the center ice area for Hughes. He missed him, and it's fired back in offside. Howie, in your pregame analysis, you made the comments that Mark Messier and Yeri Curry were out of the lineup, and Gretzky was playing with an injured shoulder. 3 starters in the All-Star game, and yet the Oilers are still pretty effective here tonight.
Yes, they certainly are.
Pulled way out of his net. Simmer feeding it in front, and Doug Smith deflected it wide. What a great scoring opportunity for the Kings. Moe came out to play that puck. Simmer beat him to it, fed it in front, and Smith with a wide open net deflected it wide. Simmer with a chance now. Moving in, takes the shot, rebound, another save, another chance. And somehow McClellan managed to keep it out, but there is a cross-checking penalty.
Well, I guess you have to forgive this Kevin McClellan. This penalty here, he earned it before he just took a goal away from Los Angeles. Just watch this play right here. That's Charlie Simmer with the puck. Cuts to the middle, and Moog falls down and is out of position. And take a look at this. Go to put it upside, up top on the short side, and McClellan is standing right there. I don't know if they're looking for a goaltender in practice one of these days. Someone's going to slip the pads on that guy.
Just prior to that, McClellan had cross-checked Dave Taylor. Here's a chance for the Kings, and somehow Charlie Huddy got in front of that drive by Bernie Nichols as he appeared to be all set up with an open net. Now it's in the corner. Ruskowski pokes it around to the other side to Fox. Fox along the boards loses it, and it's dumped down the ice. Well, in this first period, so far, by far the better scoring opportunities have belonged to the Los Angeles Kings, but they've been a little sloppy around that Edmonton goal. Paul Coffey back to his own net. He's knocked off the puck. Bernie Nichols back to the line for Hardy. A drive, and it's knocked down in front. Another opportunity. Here's McEwen with a blast. The save by Moe. Fox in behind the net for Nichols. Nichols still controlling it at the edge of the circle, tried to feed it back to the point, and it went off Anderson's skate and down the ice.
Well, I just don't know how in the world Nichols missed that goal. Fox drilled it across the ice to him like a shot on his stick, and then he missed it, and Huddy come in and took it away.
McEwen fires it in. It ricochets around the boards. Back to the point for Hardy, to the other side for McEwen. A shot, the save by Andy Moog, with Bernie Nichols looking for the rebound. McEwen with another drive, and Andy Moog comes up with the save. Don Whitman along with Howie Meeker and John Wells at the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton. The Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings still scoreless here in the first period. This line of Cote, Conacher, and Gorance was the most effective unit last evening for the Edmonton Oilers in that game with the New Jersey Devils. Cote and Gorance, of course, called up from the Moncton Alpines, and they hope to stay with the big team. But when the injured players come back, somebody will have to go. Now, it's Engblom in his own zone. Engblom to the other side for McEwen. A pass that is intercepted at the line. Cote tried to move in. He had it taken away from him by John Paul Kelly, and it's cleared down the ice. Going back after it is Kevin Lowe, and icing is charged against the Los Angeles Kings. Moog on the season has won 18, lost 4, and tied 1. The puck loose in the center ice area. Here's a chance for Gretzky. He's got Huddy with him. For Huddy, he fired it wide. He'll never have a better opportunity. Gretzky fed it across to him perfectly. He had a wide open net. Now in the center ice area, Anderson in across the line with Pozar. Anderson moving in, saved by Marcus Madsen. Jay Wells dumps it into the center ice area. Charlie Huddy is back. The fans here at the Northlands Coliseum still buzzing with Charlie Huddy getting that great setup by Wayne Gretzky. And of course, I don't think anymore it's as much the goal that Huddy would have scored as the fact that Gretzky would have kept his point streak alive into the 52nd game. Loose puck in the Edmonton zone. Pozar bumps with O'Dwyer. O'Dwyer goes down. Anderson gets the puck. Rink wide for Paul Coffey. And the Oiler defenseman starts out. He plays it to the other side for Huddy. Huddy couldn't go anywhere with it. Pozar comes back for Coffey. Coffey circling in the center ice area. Still controlling it. Moving right in. And it's poked away from him as Jay Wells made a lunge at that puck and knocked it to the corner, and then it's cleared down the ice. 8:28 is the time remaining in this opening period. It's still scoreless here at the Northlands Coliseum. Now it's Huddy in his own zone for Don Jackson. Play broken up in the center ice area, but Gretzky races in after the loose puck. Gretzky trying to feed it in front. He's tied up by Mark Chorney. Gretzky gets it again out front. Jackson with a shot. It hit a leg. Gretzky back at the goal trying to set things up, looking for Anderson. Yes, it's Anderson that he was looking for. And then he gets it again, comes out in front, backhand shot. The Oilers with a lot of pressure. Now it's brought out by Bernie Nichols. Gretzky coming close again to getting that point that would keep his string alive. Here's a 3-on-1 break led by Lindsman. And Lindsman could not control it as Chartrand and Willie Lindstrom were trying to catch up with the play. Now it's Willie Lindstrom. Knocked off the puck at the Los Angeles line. It comes back to Jackson. Jackson with a long drive that Madsen steers to the corner. Russ Anderson along the boards. Gets it ahead to Bernie Nichols. Nichols for Fox. Fox lost it in the center ice area. And going back into his own zone is Brian McClellan. Regrouping for the Los Angeles Kings. He feeds it to Russ Anderson. Up along the board for Chorney. He deflects it to center ice. And in the process takes a hit from Hunter. Now Fogelin brings it in across the line. Hunter races into the corner. Taken out of the play by Engblom. It was fed out front, but nobody was there. 6:37 the time remaining in this opening period. Doug Smith with a stop shot, and the save by Moog gets deflected up into the crowd. The face-off to the right of Andy Moog. Both teams have had some great scoring opportunities in the first period. They've been a little erratic around the net. Deflections and shots sailing high and wide when the net has been empty. Deflected to the center ice area. Engblom plays it off the boards. A shot hits the post as Doug Smith whistled that one off the post. Now the Oilers to the attack. At the line, it's poked away. Kewen couldn't go anywhere with it. Finally gets it up along the boards. Here's a chance for Los Angeles. Taylor moved right in. He had Zimmer coming in with him. Now Taylor is sent flying back to the point for Engblom at drive. A screen shot, and coming way out of his net to kick it out, Andy Moog. He's continuing to challenge those shooters, Howie.
Well, he can only do that as long as his defensemen clean them out in front, give them all kinds of time to move out and see the puck. And boy, are they ever cleaning the Los Angeles players out in front of that net. Doing a heck of a job.
Well, there was a chance again for the line of Taylor, Smith, and Zimmer. They have been the most effective attacking unit for the Los Angeles Kings. Now it's Glenn Anderson with Pozar and Gretzky. Anderson gives it to Gretzky. Gretzky is knocked flying. The puck goes loose, and Jay Wells starts back for Los Angeles. He fires it into the Edmonton zone. Coffey goes back of the goal. Coffey poking it ahead for Anderson, kept in by Jay Wells. But then he abandoned the shot. Now it's Anderson with Gretzky. Drop pass for Gretzky. Slap shot. It goes off Hardy to the corner. Hardy tries to get it out of there. Gretzky keeps it in. Back of the goal, out front. A shot and a save by Matson. And Gretzky appears to be favoring that shoulder again. He took a bit of a hit as he fed it out front. He was sent flying earlier on this same ship. Now it's Anderson with Gretzky and Pozar. Coffey gets into the play as well, but he has it poked away from him at the Los Angeles line. Pozar now brings it in. It goes loose in the corner. Wiskowski goes back after it. Wiskowski starting out for the Kings on the right side. Fired in wide. Steve Kristoff with his first shift of the hockey game. Now it's dumped back into the Los Angeles zone. 4 minutes remaining in this opening period. Long drive by Anders Hawkinson. Stopped by Moog. O'Dwyer now for Kristoff. A shot and the save. The rebound and another save by Andy Moog as Hawkinson came swooping in from that left side. And Andy Moog defended at the post. Into the center ice area. Picked up now by Gorance. Gorance flips it into the corner. Racing in there after it is Chorney up along the boards but not out. Randy Gregg beating it across for Gorance and he deflected it wide. Loose in that Los Angeles zone. O'Dwyer trying to move out of there. And finally it's cleared. And going back after it is Randy Gregg with 3:13 remaining in this first period. Still scoreless here at the Northlands Coliseum. Now Fox taken in against the boards by Gorance. Conacher comes in to try and help out, but the Kings managed to get it up along the boards. The long lead pass for Bernie Nichols, but it was broken up by the Oilers. Fired into the Edmonton zone now with Jackson back after it. Jackson goes around the other side. Fox is going to get there first. He plays it back to the point for McEwen. Backhand shot. Andy Moog gloves it. The face-off to the right of Andy Moog. Linsman is out there with Chartraw and Lindstrom. Chartraw, a defenseman, picked up from the New York Rangers, playing that wing position. Back to the line now, McEwen moving in. They tried to feed it out front for Fox, and it was broken up by Linsman. He starts back with Lindstrom. At the line, drop pass, tried to feed it back for Kevin Lowe, and Lowe was going one way, the puck the other. Now, in the center ice area, it's fired in wide by Fogelin. Steered to the corner by Matson for Brian Engblom. Engblom for the Kings, off the boards to Fox. Fox into the center ice area for Bernie Nichols. Nichols beating it in front for Fox. Still has it, a backhand shot. They jam at it. And Moog came up with another big save, taking it away from Brian McClellan. Now it's Lindstrom in across the line. He's taken against the boards. Lowe picks it up, feeds it out to Chartraw. Chartraw goes to the corner, tried to center it. It hit a skate, and it slipped to the line, but not out. Lindstrom with a drive. That Madsen deflects wide. Now off the boards, Fox directs it the length of the ice, and this will produce an icing call against Los Angeles.
They play a freewheeling, wide-open game, and they get the other team running all over the place, chasing them, and they go into the attack, too. Then all of a sudden you put Gretzky on, and he just thrives in that type of atmosphere. They create the atmosphere to make Gretzky very successful.
Fed in front. McClellan was looking for that pass-out from Hughes, but Matson was able to smother it. Now, there's some shoving. Hughes and Wiskowski along the boards. All the players are getting into this one.
Well, Terry Wiskowski is, I would think, a try in the National Hockey League for a number of years and very limited skills, but he is a worker. He's a very good playmaker, tough as nails, and he's being tested right there now. But just so good with that stick. He uses it like an axe all the time, and good checker, hard worker. If he could skate, if he was a natural skater, what a great centerman he'd be.
Roughing penalties to Wiskowski and Hughes at 1944, and that ends the first period here at the Northlands Coliseum. Some great scoring opportunities, Howie, missed by both teams.
Well, I have to agree. Some excellent goaltending by Andy Moog and Marcus Matson. Both teams playing it just a little conservatively, but in spite of that, all kinds of good scoring chances.
Saturday nights on Sky Channel. Get ready for the All-Stars from the World Wrestling Federation. Exclusive coverage of the wildest sport on television. Take a ringside seat as they fight it out. Bad guys like the Wild Samoans. Good guys like Tito Santana. And mystery men like the Masked Superstar.
We're coming, and we're going to take the country by storm. Get ready, it's on the Sky Channel with the Superstar.
All-Star Wrestling, only on Sky Channel, 10 to 9 Saturday night. American College Basketball, the all-action game that becomes the Battle of the Giants, with big wins and crushing defeats. Basketball, here on Sky Channel, Monday at 9:05.
Both teams with excellent scoring opportunities. Of those 18 shots by the Kings, Smith had 4 of them. He had a couple of chances with an open net, deflected one just wide, fired another shot just wide. And of course, one of the best scoring opportunities of the game to Charlie Huddy, who was set up perfectly. Matson way out of position. Huddy had an open net, and he fired it wide. The teams playing 5 aside with Ruskowski and Hughes in the penalty box. Now Glenn Anderson into the center ice area. Feeds it over to Charlie Huddy. Huddy tried to go rink wide for Coffey, almost picked off by Charlie Simmer. Loose in the corner, and Coffey starts back on the right side for Gretzky. Gretzky tried to drop it in for Coffey, who was breaking for the net, and it was broken up by Jay Wells. Now it's Anderson in across the line. Anderson back to Gretzky at the point. Gretzky getting set. Slap shot. It's deflected wide. Hardy goes back of his own goal. Gretzky trying to extend his consecutive game point streak to 52. Puck fired down the ice, touched by Coffey, icing charged against Los Angeles. Fogelin feeding it in front, looking for Willie Lindstrom. He was neatly tied up by Brian Engblom. Fed back into the center ice area. Nichols deflects it down into the Edmonton zone, and Kevin Lowe goes back of his own net. He loses it there. Fed out in front, and Bernie Nichols was tied up. Charlie Fox almost got it out in front of the net. Now, in the center ice area, Lindsman feeds it in across the line for Lindstrom. Lindstrom loses it to McEwen. McEwen tried to go rink wide for Nichols. It was broken up, brought in by Kevin Lowe, and then dumped back out. Here's a chance now for Terry Ruskowski. Breaking in. Ruskowski fired it wide. He held it and held it, waiting for Andy Moog to make the first move. Now Nichols scores! Bernie Nichols getting that loose puck and moving out into the face-off circle, and he fired it high over the shoulder of Andy Moog.
Well, watch Nichols. He'll pick up the puck. He looks around for someone to pass it to, and he just comes out. This is Ruskowski here. Just hung onto it too long and missed the net. Nichols will go back in. It'll end up to him. You just saw him draw away. There, Nichols has it now. He moves out, and for about the only time in the contest, Andy Moog doesn't challenge. See how he just moved himself into pretty good scoring position and put it in the short side. Good shot.
Now Chorney goes back into his own zone. Lead pass for Ruskowski. Ruskowski off the board for McCullough.
Scored by number 9, Bernie Nichols.
Now for Houston. Shot loved by Moog. Cote is bodied back of his own goal. The puck is loose and behind the Oiler net. Picked up now by Cote. Cote runs into a check from Houston. He goes flying. Randy Gregg picks it up for Gorance. Poked away from him at the line, but the Oilers managed to keep it in. Now it's Chorney circling in the corner. Flips it ahead to the line to Ruskowski. He takes the check from Jackson. The puck is fired down into the Edmonton zone. Randy Gregg back there after it. Plays it up along the boards for Conacher. Conacher having difficulties. Being checked by Terry Ruskowski. Now it goes loose back of the net. Ruskowski goes in there along with Gregg. Jackson falls on top of it. And that forces the face-off in the Edmonton zone. Bernie Nichols, with his 29th goal of the season at 1:59 in the second period, has the Kings in front of the Oilers. Dwyer is out there with Kristoff and Hawkinson. In back of the net, Hawkinson moving into position, takes a shot. Moog with the save, and the Edmonton goaltender clears it up along the boards. Now it's Pozar on the wing for Gretzky. Back to Pozar. Pozar cutting for the goal, trying to feed it in front, and his centering pass was picked off by O'Dwyer. The fans react as Jay Wells crashed Pozar into the board. Now in back of the Edmonton net, Charlie Huddy trying to get it up along the boards for Pozar. Some good checking by the Los Angeles Kings. Now Kristoff with Hackinson, they score! Beautiful setup by Kristoff. He faked the shot, fed it across the Hackinson, and it's 2-0 Los Angeles.
Boy, just what a great forechecking display by the Los Angeles Club here. They come up with the puck, and watch Kristoff fake the shot, draw back, and instead of letting it go, a slap shot, 3/4 speed right onto Hawkinson's stick, and this is a pass that Hawkinson could control. See, he took something off it. He spied him coming in there, home free, and Andy Moog way out on top of the crease. An excellent pass, and L.A. leading 2-0 and full value for it.
Hawkinson is 9th of the season from Kristoff and Hardy.
The time, 3 minutes, 39 seconds.
Now the Los Angeles Kings have doubled the number of shots on goal on the Edmonton Oilers. 22-11 is the total, and 2-0 is the score in favor of the Kings. Fired in by Kevin Lowe. McEwen goes back of his own goal. Gets it up along the boards. Dave Taylor with Charlie Simmer. Taylor with a shot, and it's gloved and held by Andy Moog. Los Angeles Kings have only one win in their last 13 games. Their last road win was on the 30th of December, a 9-3 victory over the Hartford Whalers. Engblom off the boards for Kristoff, too far. The Oilers with Chartrand shooting it in. Normally a defenseman, he's playing that wing position with Lindsman and Lindstrom. In the corner, Lindsman trying to get it back to Kevin Lowe. Willie Lindstrom also moves in. They jostle along the boards. It goes loose again. Lindsman comes up with it for Lindstrom. Lindstrom is tied up by McEwen. The puck goes loose, and O'Dwyer gets it for Los Angeles. O'Dwyer playing only his second NHL game since being called up from New Haven. With New Haven, he had 11 goals and 34 assists. He made his debut in this 1983-84 season last night in the 2-all tie with the Calgary Flames. Now Anderson takes a shot. It goes off a skate. Pozar playing it back of the goal for Gretzky. It was intercepted by Jay Wells. Wells has done a pretty good job defensively tonight for the Kings, particularly effective against Wayne Gretzky. It appears as though every time Gretzky is on the ice, Rogie Vachon is trying to get Jay Wells out there defensively. Back to the line now. Huddy with a drive. Knocked down in front and cleared to center ice. Coffey for Pozar. Pozar lost control of it. Here's Fox breaking in. Jim Fox, the rebound by Bernie Nichols, and 3-0.
Well, another miscue out of the blue line allowed Fox to win home free. Andy Moog came up with a save, but Bernie Nichols, great anticipation right there. You'll see Fox go in all by himself. Moog make the save, lose control of the rebound, and cruising through the slot, picking up that loose puck, Bernie Nichols. Fox coming in at Moog. Moog backs up as he should, makes an excellent save, stays on his feet, but the rebound popped out in front, and nobody picked up that loose man. 3-0 Los Angeles.
The 30th of the season, the second of the game for Bernie Nichols. And it's 3-0. Los Angeles leading the Edmonton Oilers. A drive by O'Dwyer just goes wide, and the puck slides back to the Los Angeles line. Smith in the center ice area. Gets it back to Charlie Simmer. He retreats into his own zone. Now feeds the pass to Smith. Smith looking for Taylor. Taylor trying to pick it up off the boards. It's whistled down on the offside. Play just underway in the center ice area. Going back after it is Kevin Lowe. The Oilers trail by a score of 3-0. And now it's Tom Gorham. A lead pass for Fogelin. He fires it in. Ray Cote racing in, but Matson came way out of his net to play it to the corner. Now Ruskowski along the boards, battling with Kevin Lowe, who had pinched in from his defensive position. Puck goes around the boards to the other side, and Ken Houston tried to get it out, kept in at the line by Kevin Lowe, but now possession belongs to Los Angeles with Ruskowski for J. Paul Kelly, and he just dumps it out into the center ice area. Fired back in by Edmonton. Brian Engblom plays it up along the boards, kept in there by Fogelin. He's bodied by Kelly. The two of them do a little shoving. Dave Newell was keeping an eye on them, but no penalties. Now it's Goran flipping it in back of the net for Conacher. Conacher controlling it for Edmonton. He takes the shot. Goran was cruising in from the left side and failed to get the deflection. Now along the boards, Houston and Cote frees it for a face-off. But you know, Howie, I think Wayne Gretzky may be hurting a lot more than he admits or the Edmonton coaching staff will admit. In this second period, he's gone quite a stretch without taking a shift.
That's right. And the power play where he's most effective is in the corners behind the net. They're playing him out on the point. They're trying to keep him away from people as much as they possibly can. And I think all they want to do is for him to get that point and get him off the ice.
Fox in across the line. Plays it in back of the net. Nichols, who has already scored 2 goals tonight, tried to catch up with it, but it was fed out into the center ice area. Now, McClellan in across the line with Fox. Fox with a good move. Feeds it back to the point. Wells with the drive. It's deflected wide. Andy Moog out of the net to hang on to it. And he forces another face-off. McClellan gets it out into the center ice area for Hardy to Fox. He hammers it into the Edmonton zone. 5:34 is the time remaining here in the second period. It's 3-0 for the Los Angeles Kings. Now, across the line, Bernie Nichols has it knocked away by Gregg. Gregg flips it down the ice. Going back after it is Jay Wells. He raced in there ahead of Wayne Gretzky. 5:17, the time left in this second period. Hozar is now out there with Anderson and McClellan. Gretzky has normally been working with this line. He played with those two last night in that 3-3 tie with New Jersey and through the hockey game so far, but now McClellan is out there. Last night as well, Gretzky against the Devils did not take face-offs. Hozar was taking most of the face-offs. A flip shot, and it's gloved and held by Andy Moore. Now Engblom plays it in back of the net. Anderson goes into the corner. So does Fogelin. And Anderson finally comes up with it. He breaks out with Kevin McClellan in across the line. McClellan unable to control the puck. Anderson drops it in back of the net. There was nobody there. And McEwen plays it off the boards to the center ice area. Kings are effective in getting that puck out of their own zone. It's fired back in by Edmonton offside.
Well, they've got that very, very big 3-goal cushion, and they're not going to make too many mistakes behind their blue line as they have been doing in the past. Averaged about 4.5 goals a game against per game, and tonight, as you saw McEwen do it, there was nobody open to give it to. The way for him was blocked to carry it out, so he just put it against the fence out in the center ice area. That's a smart play.
Linsman, Lindstrom, and Chartres for Edmonton. Dorney goes back to his own line. To Anderson. To Kelly. He and Houston collided. And Kelly went down. 3:52 is the time left here in the second period. Long lead pass for Chartres. He races in against Ruskowski. Ruskowski is spun around. The puck goes loose. And Willie Lindstrom falls on top of it. There'll be another face-off, this time in the Los Angeles zone. And still, Howie, just one shot on goal in the second period for Edmonton.
Well, they're not playing, and I have to say the Oilers are not playing very intelligently on offense and down 3-0 on defense either. But certainly they have to get that puck in and go and get control of it and move it around to the point and get some shots from the point. They're just trying to pass it through too many players, by too many players, over too long a distance. They have no really good offensive drive going for him at all. And the coach, Glenn Sather, has to be worried about the ineffectiveness of that supporting cast. Without Gretzky, there's no jump, no hustle, no nothing happening out there.
I have to agree. There just doesn't seem to be the spark one usually sees with that Edmonton Oilers team. Again, they jam in the corner. Now it's pulled free by the Kings. Houston plays it off the boards to center ice, and Coffey has to retreat along with Huddy. Now Huddy shoots it in. Picked up along the boards by Chartres. He tried to play it back to the point, broken up to Wiskowski. Wiskowski and Coffey were fighting for it. The Edmonton defender got there. Coffey again. Goes rink wide, nobody there, and it's fired back in by Los Angeles. Brought out now by the Oilers. The lead pass for Gretzky in across the line. He drops it for Coffey. Coffey has it poked away. Here's a 2-on-1 break. Hawkinson in across the line with Kristoff. To Kristoff, moving in, the save by Andy Moog. Excellent save by Andy Moog. That's the second time that the combination of Kristoff and Hawkinson has broken in on Andy Moog. The first time it was Kristoff setting up Hawkinson for the goal. This time Hawkinson fed Kristoff. He was in the slot, but Moog made the save. Now along the board, O'Dwyer manages to keep it in. Fans getting on the Oilers just a little tonight. I suppose you become just a little spoiled watching such a productive team. Jay Wells plays it up along the boards, and it's dumped down the ice. Now going back after it is Don Jackson. Jackson almost flipped it into his own net. He almost fired it past Andy Moog as he was having difficulty controlling it. Gretzky now fires it in. It's broken up at the line, and Jay Wells dumps it down the ice. 1:38 is the time remaining here in the second period. It's 3-0 Los Angeles, and the Kings are full value for the lead. Cote in the face-off circle with Nichols to the right of Marcus Matson. Matson had a couple of good saves in the first period, but he has not had much work tonight. Only 12 saves overall. Andy Moog has been forced to make 28. Gives you a pretty good indication of how this game has gone and why Los Angeles is in front by a score of 3-0. Now Fogelin from the point, a drive knocked down, picked up by Conacher. He feeds it in front. Lawrence tied up by Engblom. Now Engblom is hammered by Conacher. Engblom takes Conacher into the boards now, and the Los Angeles Kings come out with 1:05 remaining. This line of Cote, Lawrence, and Conacher, as I said earlier, were the most effective attacking unit last night for the Edmonton Oilers in the 3-all tie with New Jersey, and they appear to be stirring things up again tonight. Now it's Brian McClellan in across the line. He tried to drop it back for Fox. It's intercepted, and Cote breaks in across the line with Conacher. Cote moving in. He couldn't get the shot away. He lost control of the puck.
Well, it's finally opened up a little bit, sparked mainly by young Conacher, and I guess that check on Engblom, but he's just been going up and down that wing like a little machine. There's Bernie Nichols, who's got himself a penalty, and I don't know what it was for, slashing. Oh, watch this two-hander. I wondered where the broken part of the stick had come from. Oh, that's a pretty good one, eh? Up high.
So Bernie Nichols, who has scored 2 goals tonight, will go to the penalty box, and again, the Oilers will try and get back in the hockey game on the power play. As we mentioned earlier, the second most effective power play in the National Hockey League.
I'm surprised, really, that the supporting cast on defense, who all year go to the attack consistently, Gregg, Huddy, Jackson, Coffey, and Lowe, are not just taking the bull by the horns tonight and taking that puck and going with it from end to end. These guys have to put some effort into the offense. The Flames are going to get, or Edmonton are going to get back into this at all.
Coffey keeps it in at the point. Coffey feeds it in the corner to Lindsman. He had lost his stick. Now it's picked up by Hughes. 3 Oilers back of the net. They get it out to Gretzky. Gretzky, who is playing the point on this power play, to Coffey. Now Gretzky goes back of the goal as Hughes has moved to the point. Coffey with a drive, and Marcus Matson makes the save, holding it with Gretzky looking for a rebound.
I would think the Edmonton Oilers are panicking just a little bit. I think the whole team's under the pressure of this Gretzky deal. There's no way in the world Coffey should be shooting that puck from where he did there. Madsen, all he had to do was stand up, stay on the short side, and couldn't go in. And Ingbaum was right there looking after Gretzky, was trying to get the rebound.
Talking to Vachon before the game, he said, perhaps what I should do is let Gretzky score early. There's a drive by Coffey and a glove save by Marcus Madsen. That's right, the Kings put the end to the last Gretzky scoring streak. So far tonight, they've done it. The last time, of course, December of 1982, was in Los Angeles. From the face-off, Coffey with a drive, it's wide. And that's the end of the period. Still 1:27 remaining in the penalty to Bernie Nichols.
Well, Los Angeles Kings, full value for their 3-0 lead here. They're giving the Edmonton Oilers a lesson in sound defensive hockey and how to do some forechecking and take the man off the puck in the other end and move it out from the corner, get some shots on the net and score some goals. Yeah, they're playing well.
So the score at the end of the second period is Los Angeles 3, Edmonton nothing.
Join Sonny and Will on the road in Moving On. Sky Channel, Saturday at 6:25. We interrupt this evening's program to bring you a news flash. A spaceship has crash-landed on Sky Channel. The occupant, a Martian professor, is residing with a young journalist while his ship is being repaired.
Once I can lick the fine-tuning problem and set myself for the exact time prior to the crash, I can correct the malfunction of my ship and fly back to Mars.
Further bulletins will be issued on Sky Channel. My Favorite Martian, Saturday at 6 o'clock.
LA have played well, very well behind the blue line where they have been atrocious all year long.
The Oilers with a man advantage, still 1:27 remaining in the penalty to Nichols. Here's Anderson across the line. A shot, just missed the far corner. Back to the point for Gretzky. Gretzky feeds it in. A drive from Charlie Huddy, and the save is made from that sharp angle shot by Marcus Madsen, and it's fired down the ice.
Well, again, I can't understand Charlie Huddy. He's in deep at an impossible angle. All he accomplished there by shooting it at the net is giving it to the Los Angeles team.
Here's Gretzky at the line, dumping it in the corner. It goes back at the net. Terry Ruskowski gets there first. 50 seconds remaining in the penalty, and the puck is cleared down the ice.
Normally, too, the Edmonton Oilers carry the puck in. Give it to one of the guys with all the foot, and two of them aren't here tonight, but there's still lots of them around. Carry it in.
Willie Lindstrom going in. Gretzky moving in as well. The puck is loose. They jam at it. And Anderson could not get it through. The penalty coming up against Los Angeles. Here's Gretzky in front. He just misses the far corner. A delayed penalty call against the Los Angeles Kings.
2 minutes for slashing. Mark Chorney gives the Edmonton Oilers a chance at the power play again. And I'm not so sure that was too much of a slash. We got him on the stick more than on the arm. Maybe hooking interference or something else. But anyways, another chance for number 99, and he's finally got some hop. And the crowd here, the Coliseum, are clapping their hands, wanting a goal or a point by number 99.
Well, in 7 games this season, Gretzky has ended the third period without a point for 23 seconds. The Oilers will have a 2-man advantage. Ken Lindsman in the face-off circle against Terry Ruskowski. Gretzky is back at the point along with Paul Coffey. We've played 1 minute and 4 seconds of the third period. It's 3-0 for Los Angeles. Back to the point for Gretzky. Gretzky over to Coffey. Back to Gretzky. Gretzky for Hughes. Hughes and his shot held by Marcus Madsen.
I kind of thought that shot by Hughes took a funny hop in front of Marcus Madsen and went between his legs. He pulled up on it. The stick wasn't blocking the old 5-hole, but it must have hit something, and certainly it fell in front of him, and L.A. picked up the rebound.
I thought for a moment it had gone through his legs as well. Lindsman gets the draw. Back to Coffey. Over for Gretzky. Gretzky feeds it in to Hughes. He's banned on the shot. Now it's Anderson for Hughes. Hughes trying to feed it out front, and it was taken away by Ruskowski and cleared down the ice as Nichols comes back out. 1:29 remaining in the penalty to Chorney. Too far for Gretzky, and it's fired back in offside by Hawkinson. You know, we've talked a lot in the past about the incredible streak that the Edmonton Oilers have when they lead going into the third period. 32 games with a victory, one tie this year. They had 37-0-5 last season. While conversely, when the Oilers are trailing going into the third, they have a record of 3-8-2 this season.
I don't think they stand a chance of winning this hockey game. The only thing up for grabs now is whether Wayne Gretzky can get himself a point. And the more you watch him when he's on the ice, to watch his movements, I'm sure that shoulder is bothering him to a great degree.
Well, you know, they talk about the Gretzky streak, the fact that he's gone 51 games this year. He finished off the last 9 regular season games a year ago with at least a point as well. Linsman back to the point for Gretzky. Gretzky goes rink wide, and it's broken up. An alert move back in his own zone by Anders Hawkinson. Now for Ken Linsman. He's checked by Hawkinson. He's been doing a very effective job in killing penalties for the Kings. 51 seconds remaining in the penalty. Coffey works in across the line, pokes it into the corner. McClellan goes back there. He's bodied. It comes back to the point for Gretzky. Gretzky over to Coffey. A shot. It's wide. It ricochets off the backboards and out into the center ice area. Gretzky goes back, being watched carefully by Nichols. Gretzky gets away from him. Now Nichols comes back. He upsets Gretzky. The fans react, thinking a penalty should have been called. However, referee Dave Newell did not see it that way. Now just 17 seconds remaining in the penalty. Here's a shot by Nichols. He's looking for his third goal of the hockey game, and he fired it wide. Well, the Los Angeles Kings have done an effective penalty-killing job here in the third period. Lindstrom in across the line, puts it to the corner. Kevin McClellan goes back of the net for Pozar now. Pozar tried to play it back to the point. They managed to keep it in. A long drive, and Madsen had trouble handling that shot with Willie Lindstrom breaking in. Kept in by Pozar. He intercepts the pass. Feeds it across for Jackson. He scores!
Well, that's what this Oiler club does so well. They take you deep and open the slot. The defense comes cruising in. The pass is soft and right in the stick, and bang, it's in the net. Pozar with the puck. Takes everybody with him. Look at the center open up. The great big hole in the deep slot. And Pozar. Jackson moves in and lets it go. Good shot.
Don Jackson.
Well, a defensive error by the Los Angeles Kings. Anderson trying to clear that puck. Just threw it out, and Pozar picked it off and set up Jackson, and it's now 3-1. In the center ice area, Smith for the Kings. Across the line, tried to feed it in front into the slot for Taylor. It's picked off by Cote. Cote shoots it in. Off the backboard, Conacher unable to pick it up. He was taken off the puck by Brian Engblom. At the line, broken up by Fogelin. He feeds it to Conacher. He couldn't move along the boards, and Taylor shoots it into the Edmonton zone. Now it's Doug Smith from the corner trying to center it. It goes to the other side, picked up there by Conacher. This line of Conacher, Cote, and Gorans has been all over the ice. They've been using the body most effectively of any of the Edmonton attacking units. Seem to get things stirred up. Now it's Simmer with Taylor. He tried to drop it back for Taylor. It was broken up by Kevin Lowe and dumped into the center ice area. Well, Dwyer is out there now for Los Angeles as the Kings make player changes. Kevin Lowe trying to get it out of his own zone, had it deflect off a King player. Now Gretzky with a back pass for Anderson. Anderson with Pozar, a long drive, and Marcus Madsen has it under his pad, and he holds it for a face-off.
Well, this is the shift Gretzky's going to get his point, or two good chances at it. Watch it. Got a hunch.
Anderson with a drive, glove saved by Madsen. He flips it off for Jay Wells. Wells taken in against the boards by Pozar. Anderson looking for Gretzky. He plays it back to the point for Huddy, a shot. It's deflected in front. And Pozar tried to change the direction of that bouncing puck. He was unable to control it. Gretzky unable to get a shot away as it was taken away from him by Wells. Into the center ice area. Now it's Hackinson. Along the boards. Fired in. Took a strange bounce off the glass. Logue had to stop it in back of the goal. Lead pass for Gretzky in the center ice area. For Coffey and across the line. Ball Coffey for Pozar, a shot, a rising blast that ricocheted off the glass, and it goes all the way down the ice. Logue plays it to the corner for Jackson. He's taken in against the boards by Houston, and they force the face-off to the left of Andy Moe. McClellan is upset. Penalty coming up against Bernie Nichols, I believe. So again, the Oilers will go on the power play.
I'm amazed how strong these fellows are, reaching out at arm's length with the tip of their stick to get hooking penalties. Let's take a look at this one here. I don't know. Anyways, he's in the penalty box, and the Oilers have another chance.
Gretzky with a shot. It's just deflected wide. And it's cleared down the ice by Los Angeles. Bernie Nichols certainly figuring in tonight's game statistically. 2 goals, 3 penalties. Ruskowski plays it back to Jay Wells. He's out there with Hardy on the blue line. Up front, Hawkinson and Ruskowski trying to kill off his penalty for Los Angeles. Now Gretzky moves out for Edmonton. He fed it in on the right side, looking for Dave Hunter, who was across the blue line offside.
I sort of get the feeling up here as I watch the Edmonton Oilers Hockey Club and some of the guys that should be leading it. I think maybe they're all kind of fed up with this 51-game streak. None of them, Coffey in particular, who has all the ability to take that thing and really go with it. He's not playing with too much enthusiasm. Neither is Kenny Linsman. And maybe they say, hey, it's time that this streak did come to an end and we start playing hockey that's going to win that Stanley Cup for us instead of point a game for Gretzky.
Fired in by Coffey. McClellan goes in behind the goal. Cleared up along the boards by Jay Wells, and Gretzky goes back into his own zone. He's being watched there by Doug Smith. Gretzky gets away from one check from McClellan. Gretzky with a long shot. It deflects high up into the crowd. Well, I think the Los Angeles Kings penalty killing has something to do with it, Howie, as well, because they are certainly much more effective tonight than they have been in recent games when they're playing a man short.
I'll buy that, but certainly you have to put down that the Edmonton Oilers are not playing with near the drive, near the enthusiasm that they have in the past when they're on the power play or any other time.
No question, they don't seem to have the zip tonight. Now in across the line, Linsman has it poked away. Here's a chance now for Smith, breaking into the right side against Gretzky, and Gretzky manages to hook it away from.
What a move! Gotta show us that play.
Just 6 seconds remaining in the penalty. Here's Gretzky controlling the puck, feeding it out for Anderson. Anderson waiting, a backhand shot. It's wide. Gretzky gets it again, trying to feed it out front. Still controlling it in the corner. Slides it out, and Pozar had it go between his legs. Played up along the boards for Kevin Lowe. Lowe puts it ahead to McClellan. McClellan at the line. Had it poked away. It's loose in the center ice area. The Oilers shoot it in again, but it's brought right back out by Los Angeles. 11:25 is the time remaining here in the third period. 3-1, the Los Angeles Kings in front of the Edmonton Oilers. Now it's Hunter across the line with McClellan and Hughes. A shot goes off a leg. It goes wide into the corner. Back to the point. Fogelin kept it in there. McClellan along the boards with O'Dwyer trying to kick it free. Hunter also comes in. He comes up with the puck. A backhand shot. It went off a leg. Matson way out of his net. play it up along the boards. Now back to the line for Fogelin. He couldn't get a shot away. In back of the goal as the Oilers are applying some pressure here at the midway point of the third period. Hughes gets it out front. Here's a chance now for Fogelin. The save by Matthew. Loose in front of the net. They jam away. And finally it's cleared. Now it's McClellan. He fed it in the right side, intended for Hunter. It was intercepted. McEwen brings it into the Edmonton zone and fires it back at the goal for John Paul Kelly. Lowe ties him up, and Anderson comes up with the puck for Pozar. Pozar is taken out of the play, and it's fired back in by the Los Angeles Kings. Now Jackson plays it around the boards to the other side. Pozar steps into Smith. The puck goes loose back of the net as the Kings manage to keep it in. Now Simmer up with it out front. A shot, a quick save as Jay Wells had moved in from his blue line position, and Andy Moog had to react quickly. 9:45, the time remaining in the third period. 3-1, the Los Angeles Kings leading. Up along the boards now, kept in by Wells. A drive, moved way out of his net, and the Oilers break out. A pass for Gretzky, and it was picked off by Hardy and deflected into the crowd. Play underway now in the center ice area. Kevin McClellan back on the ice. And the Oilers in their own zone. They trail by a score of 3-1. Just 5:11 remaining in the hockey game. Coffey has his pass knocked down by Ruskowski. Houston working in against Jackson. He's spun around as the puck goes loose in the corner. Comes out front to Houston. A backhand shot. It sails wide. Now it's John Paul Kelly over in the other corner along with Anderson and Huddy. Huddy pokes a free, but it comes out to Houston. Slap shot, he scores!
Well, Charlie Huddy just took the puck and threw it out in the center where Gretzky normally is, but pound big Ken Houston, he just teed it up and let it go and it picked the corner. That's Huddy with the puck, and that's one place you never want to put it. There's Houston, tees her up, lets it go, and it's just inside the post. Andy Moog's right. Well, that salts the game away for this club. If you were had any doubt about it before, Kenny Houston.
His 8th of the season.
What a big win this would be for the Los Angeles Kings.
Ken Houston. The time, 15 minutes, 14
They have been struggling, of course, at the bottom of the Smythe Division standings. Coming into the game with 39 points, trailing Vancouver by 3. Now it's Hawkinson on a breakaway. Hawkinson moving in. Moog makes the save. He goes down and has the puck underneath him. Well, of course, there is considerable conjecture, as we pointed out earlier, that Mike Nicholas could be gone tonight as coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. They trail Washington 8-0 in the third period. I believe Doug Carpenter's name has been mentioned. He's coaching the Leaf Farm Club in St. Catharines. And in case you were wondering about Gretzky and how close he has come to losing that consecutive game point string, against Chicago a couple of weeks ago, he scored with 2 seconds remaining in the game. Keep the streak alive. There's the goal. Barnes, as the puck was misplayed. Now Gretzky is out there.
He got the assist. How about that? Would you believe it? I'm going down to Vegas, and if they'll give me some kind of odds, because I think he's divine to go 80 games. Look at this. It's across the grid. No, he shouldn't have got it. That's right. Now let's see. Is he going to get an assist?
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Score number 26, Tom Burns. The assists to number 15, Pat Conacher, and number 29, Don Jackson. The time, 16 minutes, 38 seconds.
Well, Gretzky did not get an assist. Here's Gretzky across the line for Conacher. Conacher, backhand shot. Now Jackson tries to feed it across. Jackson in the corner. And he has it taken away, and it's dumped down the ice. Well, Gretzky was out there, but he did not get an assist. Now here's Conacher in across the line with Gretzky. Gretzky unable to control it. He has to chase it. Now gets it back around his way. Gretzky again. He shoots it one. Jackson feeds it for Conacher. He tried to slip it out front, and it's dumped down the ice by Los Angeles. 2:45 remaining in the game. Well, earlier this week, Howie, you talked about Vegas and the odds makers down there. Some of them had established 500-to-1 odds that Gretzky would not go all 80 games. Here's a shot and a glove save by Marcus Manson off Willie Lindstrom. Well, with 54 seconds remaining, don't think many folks here in the Northlands Coliseum feel that the Edmonton Oilers can win the hockey game, but can Wayne Gretzky keep that streak alive? 41 seconds, the time remaining. The Los Angeles Kings get possession to Charlie Simmer with Dave Taylor. Simmer for Taylor in front. Taylor couldn't get a shot away, tried to feed it back to the point, but Hardy was not in position. Now, Mark Hardy dumps it in for Charlie Simmer. Simmer with a slap shot, the save by Andy Moog. Just 19 seconds. This could be the last chance for Gretzky to keep the string alive. Gretzky in across the line with Coffey. Coffey over for Anderson with just 9 seconds remaining. The puck loose in the corner. They fight for it along the boards as we go down to 3 seconds. Here's a chance. Gretzky at the side of the net. The game is over. Gretzky in the dying seconds had a chance, but the string comes to an end. 51 consecutive games for Wayne Gretzky. But what a string it was, and what excitement, and an ovation for number 99 as his record string is ended here at the Northlands Coliseum tonight at the hands of the Los Angeles Kings, the same team that ended another consecutive game streak for Gretzky back in 1982. And the Los Angeles Kings win it 4-2.